Welcome to the Night Pod Cometh, where we talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I am your host, Jamie G. Esquire the Fifth, and I'm also an official Jägermeister.
What is the second classiest drink in the world?
Jägermeister.
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 I'm here with Magnum Mills to discuss Season 16, Episode 5, Celebrity Booze, the Ultimate Cash Grab.
Thank you for checking out the Night Pod Cometh. I am Magnum Mills, and this is going to be a fun one. You can find Night Pod wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Night Pod Cometh. And please don't forget the flaps. We all forget a lot of things, but the flaps are not something you want to forget. Follow, like, and please subscribe. That's how other people find our show. We greatly appreciate it. So if you had fun, please just remember to give us just one thumb. That's all we're asking. Single thumb. You can spare a thumb, right?
You need to know that the Night Pod Cometh is a full-on spoiler affair. Everything associated with Sunny, including all previous episodes, podcasts, interviews, etc., etc. It could all come up in our discussion of Celebrity Booze, the Ultimate Cash Grab. And it likely will. There could also be some minor Breaking Bad spoilers in her as well, given that we get Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, but nothing major probably. If there is, we'll warn you. That's it. You jabronis have been officially warned.
Let's do this thing.
This is Season 16, Episode 5, the 167th overall episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, titled Celebrity Booze, the Ultimate Cash Grab. Originally aired June 28th, 2023. Directed by Megan Gans. This is the third episode of Sunny that she's directed. Written by the Big Three, Rob McElhenney, Charlie Day, and Glenn Howerton. Guest starring Bryan Cranston as himself, Aaron Paul as himself, Ross Kimball as limo driver, and Gritty as himself. The short plot synopsis is, when news spreads of Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul's visit to Philadelphia to promote their Dos Hermanos Mezcal brand, the guys decide to pitch them their own liquor. The gang takes to the skies to get a taste of the glamorous high life.
What do you think here, man? Any notable callbacks or references we should point out before we start breaking down this episode?
I will note that this literally is not even the first time we've seen D stuck on a private plane circling Philly. We saw that happen in Season 9, Episode 1, The Gang Broke D. Charlie's chauffeur outfit is very similar to the one we saw Frank wear in Season 7, Episode 1. Frank's Pretty Woman, and you even get the exchange with Bryan Cranston, like he likes that Charlie the driver is the common man, and that was the gag that they were trying to run with Frank being, the driver and the common man, and that's why he would go home with the lady after Charlie came down with the case of the consumption. Hell, this isn't even the first time that nickels have been ingested on the show. Dee's rabbit, Peter Nickel Eater, ate a nickel back in Season 6, Episode 11. The gang gets stranded in the woods. And I'm pretty confident that Dos Hombres has to be a Breaking Bad reference, maybe the only actual overt Breaking Bad reference in the show.
We'll start off with our overall thoughts on the episode. What do you think here, man? Was this a premium episode of Sunny for you? How you feeling?
It was a little bit of a weird one in that I think you almost had to watch Breaking Bad for it to work. Despite the fact that a lot of the gags are about Malcolm in the Middle, I have only ever seen a couple episodes, and that didn't really bother me. But the whole idea that they basically, again, minor spoilers for Breaking Bad, the Walt Jesse dynamic is kind of flipped here, is a big part of the whole story. And the way kind of Cranston relates, like kind of he's the Mac of the group, and he's not Walter White. And if you don't understand where those relationships are coming from, I think the episode won't land as well. And it also does seem, and this is something the guys have confirmed on the podcast or whatever, that there's a little bit of shit missing because they weren't ever sure if they were going to be able to get Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. So they had to kind of like give themselves another way to do this episode, which is why I think we get basically the hanging chad of D eating those oysters and wanting to use the toilet, and then nothing happens. And even the episode itself kind of ends like Cranston gives the speech, which is cool, but it's a little bit of a denouement. It's not really necessarily, you were hoping for a little bit something more maybe. I definitely enjoyed it. I laughed a lot. The references are spot on as far as the wardrobe gags, the liquor gags, all that kind of stuff. Charlie doing the Nickelschlager thing. All of that stuff works like gangbusters. I just think that maybe somewhere in here, this could have been like an all-time classic episode instead of being, which is probably now like one of, I don't know, the second or third best episode of Season 16. How about you, man?
I completely agree. When you realize that Walt and Jesse are going to be on this episode. And the bar is set extremely high. I don't know that they really delivered on that. And I don't know that maybe they could have. Maybe that's an unfair ask. I do think that Walt and Jesse were fun, and they added that, to your point, the kind of reverse element of it, which was really cool, just knowing all the shit that goes on Breaking Bad, to see that happen. And dude, Aaron Paul, can he ever not be Jesse with a shaved head? Like, he's just permanently fucking Jesse. Like, I was just waiting. He even dropped
I think that's his natural look these days. So yeah, I did like, again, the way they use bitch. And one thing I have to say that I had during the episode, I thought we were going to get to a punchline where it turned out that they were like, we were going to get a cooking montage where they showed us like the way they made Dos Hombres out of like dead rats or something horrible. You know what I mean? I thought there was going to be like that kind of like end gag where we get, kind of a Breaking Bad style montage. You think you're going to get it. And then it just cuts to them like, using like sewage runoff to make the liquor or something crazy.
Well, dude, and I'll just say the name was spot on. The Dos Hombres, like Breaking Bad was infamous. Again, minor spoiler, not even, but for just Los Pollos Hermanos, like that everyone wants to go eat fried chicken at Los Pollos Hermanos. That's an awesome name. The Chicken Brothers, like that's super cool. I thought that was fun. I like how they incorporated kind of a similar name here into the show. Again, I think it had potential to be like top 5 ever. And instead, it was probably like so far top 3 of season 16, which isn't bad because ultimately, dude, looking back, this has been a solid, couple episodes.
You could call it a bounce back year. It's probably easily the most solid season since 12, maybe 11. So. You could argue depending on how they end it, but it does seem like they have some good episodes in the pipeline coming down the stretch. So I'm definitely pumped. And I'm hoping that they're going to come back next year, that, no long turnaround, come back, hit us with season 17 pretty quick next year, next June again. Don't make it, don't take 2 years off again or what have you.
All right, my dude, have a little Goldschlager here for courage and bring us into Celebrity Booze, the ultimate cash grab.
It's 12:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. Mac, Dennis, and Charlie are at Paddys watching the news. They see a story about Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul coming to Philly to promote their new alcohol brand, Dos Hombres.
Really, the only important thing here is just the classic cut to title card we get here. Because all the guys are like, oh yeah, well, we're going to do this. We're going to do this, right? And Charlie's like, it's already happening. That is both what's actually happening in the show and meta, because I think multiple of the guys are involved in various celebrity alcohol brands. And most famously, obviously, Rob McElhenney co-owns a soccer club with Ryan Reynolds, who has Aviation Gin or whatever like that. So a very meta gag, but just the idea that Charlie's just saying it's already happening, and then boom, you cut to the title card. I thought that was pretty great. Let's be honest here. If you're going to try a new booze, why are you trying it? It's not because of a celebrity endorsement or ownership, right?
Probably not. I do think it adds to it just a smidge, depending on how much I like the endorser.
That's fair enough. I guess I'd say for me, it's almost usually it almost has to be word of mouth. Like someone I trust has to be like, oh, you need to try this, and that's really the best way for me, I think. Are there any other examples you can think of a fictional celebrity brand that you would like to buy as far as alcohol goes?
Bro, how could I not go with Old Number 17, a whiskey brought to you by Josh Allen? I mean, come on, dude. If Josh Allen produced a whiskey, would it be the most sold item in all of Western New York? Probably, right, dude? I mean,
at least that name is better than Josh's Jacks. I'll give you that. How about some Mary Jane mezcal, dude? Like a marijuana infused mezcal by Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised that hasn't happened, dude. Where like a partnership of Martha Stewart or something. Like I could see that, dude. Like Snoop's on some weird shit like that. I could see that one.
How about Raw Tequila by Eddie Murphy?
Only if he wears the red leather.
He's bringing it back, dude. Charlie Murphy, he's not like, he's more muscular, but he's not like old and fat or anything. He can still pull it off, probably.
He can pull it off, dude. If he wore that, I'd be there for it.
And I got one more. What if we got rid of Everclear? And so you need a new grain alcohol, so you get rocked. It's a 95% alcohol by volume grain alcohol by Dwayne Johnson.
Well, The Rock has a tequila already, but I would be into it. I would be.
This is
into it, dude.
hardcore though, dude. This is appealing
This
to
is like
middle
the next
America
level
right
shit.
here.
Yes, rocked. There's something to that. It would be like if a dude's nickname was the Hammer. Only then could he make a better alcohol where he could be like hammered, the all grain ever. Rocks is pretty good, dude. That's way up there.
This reminds me of bowling balls back in the day. There was definitely the same company and they had different lines of bowling balls, and one was a nail and one was a hammer.
Dude, why didn't MC Hammer make like a hammered like Cavassier or some shit like that? He missed it there, dude.
I think he went all in on pants. And shout out obviously Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul. Do you think they're the biggest celebrities ever to appear on Sunny? Like maybe discounting Danny DeVito himself?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had a couple offensive linemen, I think, from the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, Jason Kelce's up there from a Philly standpoint, but
I think from a national standpoint and just a brand standpoint, absolutely, dude. I can't think of any bigger celebrities ever been on the show.
I mean
really.
Stifler, he's Country Mac. I mean, Mindy Kaling was in the opening episode of season 13. And there's been a few, but we had a couple MMA fighters.
Well, the gang hits the slopes. They had the bull, but he was a little bit old. He was 20 years older than.
Yeah, D. Cameron, he's more of an 80s star. He's not really like a star. Like Bryan Cranston is still like borderline A-list actor.
Yeah, and I think if Aaron Paul wanted to do more shit, he would be too. Honestly,
I mean Chase Utley and Ryan Howard right around when they were like the Phillies were really good at winning a World Series and playing in the playoffs every year. That was pretty big. Get back in the day, I guess.
But I definitely think it rivals the top. I mean, if it's in the top 3 for sure, if not number 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, they got a lot of great character actors and stuff, but I mean, not complete A-list types, and I think you're definitely on the border of that here. One last thing, they get mad like, oh, why are they crossing over into our lane? Do these guys consider alcohol to be their lane? Like they own alcohol or something?
Well, dude, I think Mac thinks because like they own a bar. Like, what are these assholes doing playing in our space? They've got all of Hollywood, which is total Mac thing. And actually, the gang agrees. Like, yeah, actually, you know what? That is our lane.
Love that. Just there was a little minor call. And shout out to Newscaster. We haven't seen Newscaster in a minute. Newscaster's back.
We had
recurring. Cool. Good one.
Yeah, very cool.
After the opening credits, we're still at Paddys with Dennis, Mac, and Charlie. They discuss what they want their alcohol brand to be like. Obviously, it needs to be premium, like themselves. They agree that Goldschlager is the most premium alcohol ever invented, and Charlie pitches them on making Nickelschlager from Nickels. Dennis finds it disgusting and dangerous, but Charlie says that he's going to try it anyway. They also agree that Jägermeister is the second most premium alcohol ever. Dennis proposes using a blend of those liquors, which Mac and Charlie think is an awesome idea.
You're a guy who's been in Philadelphia bars. You've been in bars all over the world. But my question to you is, would you consider Goldschlager and then Jägermeister as the top 2 premium alcohols? I'm just curious here. Is this totally the gang, or are they on to something that maybe the rest of us don't know yet?
Well, here's the deal. If you calculate the ages here, these guys would have been basically in college when those came out. And those would have been the premium liquors when you were in college back in the day.
Okay. Like as a college student.
I was in high school when they came out, and that was the shit, dude. Goldschlager.
Oh, dude, when you scored a bottle of Goldschlager, that was a big deal, dude.
And the other one was Aftershock. Remember it had the crystals in the bottom or whatever?
Crystals.
People love that. Can you think of any other kind of gimmick liquor?
I mean, peach schnapps, but that was down.
That's not really gimmicky. I mean, Hot Damn was like hot cinnamon schnapps, but that really wasn't. I think that was more regional.
No, I think the top gimmicky ones were definitely Goldschlager and then Aftershock. Shout out Aftershock, dude. A lot of people don't know about Aftershock. It was like a shot of Big Red up the ass. I mean, it was a big one. Dude.
Bred Ice 101 off of it, I think. That kind of like it had its own spin-off. But just the way that Goldschlager is described first.
Yeah, Swiss cinnamon schnapps liqueur with drinkable flakes of gold floating in it. My God, what's more premium than that?
And then the way Jägermeister is described, I mean...
What is the second classiest drink in the world?
Jägermeister.
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 Yeah. Amazing. Yes, it's the Meisters and the Schlagers and the Schnapps. I mean, those are the drinks that make people feel high end. Like they're on a European ski adventure, right?
I love that. I definitely remember freshman year of college, the fraternity. I wound up pledging. Like they had a parents' weekend thing, and holy shit, dude, we went through I think 15 bottles of Jägermeister. It was out of control. I've not drank it since. That was a fun thing. And the whole blend thing, I mean, that is a little bit of a thing. But Jamie G, I'm gonna have to ask you to pronounce Patty's signature drink. I will try it first, and it's Schlager Schnapsmeister. That's it, Schlager Schnapsmeister. Oh no, Schlager Schnapstermeister. Schlager Schnapstermeister. Can you say that? Schlager Schnapstermeister.
Schlager Schlapstermeister.
Oh, he almost did it like Sean Connery. That if you
I
could get
tried to
Sean,
get it.
yeah, Sean Connery saying that would be
Welcome to the
perfect.
Rock. Fuck. I mean, dude, would you drink that though? Like honestly, like just
Oh,
like I'm trying
fuck.
to think about those flavors combined. That would be a wild day at the park if you were to drink those, drink that in one kind of thing.
Yeah, I no.
Lager
My-
Schnapstermeister.
Yeah, my stomach is just like no, thank you, basically.
It would hate you.
It feels like, what was that shit? Like it was the Incredible Hulk. You mixed up, like, what was it, Hennessy, and I forget the liquor, and then it turned
Oh
green.
god, Hypnotic.
Yep, Hennessy and Hypnotic. Yep, make
It was
Incredible
so
Hulk. There you
bad.
go.
It
Hennessy and
turned
Hypnotic,
green.
dude.
It's so bad.
That was the Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh,
was
that was
so
all right. That's
bad.
up there.
It just
Hypnotic.
turned
There you go. Throw that on the list. There you go.
Yeah.
Now that they have a plan, Dennis thinks that they need financing before they approach the celebrities. He calls Frank, who's circling Philly in his private jet with Dee for tax purposes. Frank is initially not into the celebrity brand thing, but he changes his mind when he hears that it's Malcolm from Malcolm in the Middle and Malcolm's dad. He tells Dennis to call him if they land Malcolm and his dad, and Frank will meet them when he lands.
Have you ever actually really watched Malcolm in the Middle? Let's get that out of the way.
Actually, no. I was a little too old for it, kind of. So I know of Malcolm in the Middle, but I've never seen one singular episode, which is a shame because people tell me it's great.
I've seen a couple, and it was a pretty good cast, especially obviously the mom and Cranston were great. Frankie Muniz was great, and the young kid, like I forget his name. Really a solid cast overall and everything like that. But I never watched it. Watched it. It kind of like I would catch it because it would come on like after or before a Seinfeld rerun or something like that. I feel kind of deal. Like I think I probably saw them in reruns, not when they ran live. And what do you think? Does Breaking Bad just not exist in the Sunny universe, or is this just kind of like deliberate?
Dude, I think it's absolutely hilarious that they completely ignore Breaking Bad, never once even reference it, and instead just hammer on the Malcolm in the Middle thing, Mr. Malcolm. And dude,
The idea that Aaron Paul is like a grown-up Frankie Muniz is pretty hysterical in itself.
Yes, dude, 100%. I think it works so well, and they're basically like, yeah, we don't want to make this a Breaking Bad thing. I like the choice actually. I thought it was kind of smart.
Yeah, just minor stuff. I always love when Dee calls people dick nips. I don't know why. She doesn't go to it like extremely often, but it's a good one when she does.
Who did she call a dick nip here? Did she call Frank a dick nip?
She calls the guys dick nips because she's on the private jet when she thinks she's going to Aruba.
Yes.
Like she's
Okay.
bragging when she thinks like she's really winning before she finds out they're just circling Philly.
Yes.
Definitely
Yeah.
love that Malcolm in the Middle changed the game. That was a very good one. And shout out just Greg Louganis being the face of Frank's apricot brand. He had an apricot brand. That is pretty random in itself right there, I would say. And shout out to Callaway. We hear I Want to Be Rich a few times throughout the episode. It's Callaway right there. He wants money. Lots and lots of money. And shout out Frank, obviously, eating spaghetti. He's on a private jet. He's eating spaghetti with a box wine. And just note, the box wine is a red blend.
Nice little tie in there.
Oh, and you called one out to me. How about everybody telling Dee to shut up?
Dang, that sounds pretty glamorous. I'd like to hang with celebs.
Shut up, D.
Shut up, D. God, shut up, D. Shut your mouth or I will shut it for you.
You get back, Matt's gonna shut it for you.
Shut your mouth or we're gonna sew your lips shut. Just shut up. Shut up.
And I love that they go from like the plane back to the bar, back to the plane for that one. I thought that was really cool.
And they're all very, emphatic and in agreement on Dee needs to shut up. They will make her shut up. I thought that was great. And are you surprised this is the Frank owning a plane is kind of a big deal? Like that
Yes.
takes his money to a whole new level because then when you own a private jet, you have to maintain it. You have to pay for a hangar, fuel. Like that's a big fucking deal. We've heard him like take private jets. I'm surprised that they all of a sudden decide to give him one. I mean, we hear him ask for 35 mil for it, so you got to figure it's worth at least 25.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fact that he asked for 35, because I mean, you know, you can get a private jet that's 06 to 010 time frame for somewhere between $4 and $6 million with not crazy hour usage and stuff. Like you can find them. So 35 million for a private jet that's like a great private jet. That's probably like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some sort of bedroom or something because they go out of the main cabin, so there is more to it. But you know, how much more can that really be? They don't even have flight attendants or anything. So
no, but yeah, it takes, and I love that they did. I want money, lots and lots. I've been singing that song all day, dude.
Callaway,
Great one.
good ringtone, especially for Frank Reynolds. Very,
Yes.
very on brand choice. I like it.
Next, the guys arrive at the club where Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul are doing a meet and greet to promote Dos Hombres. Charlie is dressed like a chauffeur, while Mac is doing a Michael Jordan in the 90s thing. Charlie actually made some Nickelschlager, and he's been drinking it all day. This causes him to set off the metal detector, and he's denied entrance, so he goes outside to try to puke up the nickels. Mac and Dennis make it inside, and Mac wants to expand the pitch to include a lifestyle brand. Dennis begs him not to do so, and they get in line to meet Bryan and Aaron.
First off, thoughts on the outfits. We like the wardrobe stuff here. I couldn't decide. Is this a Night at the Roxbury thing, or is this really MJ thing?
The hoop earring gave me the MJ.
That's
vibe.
dead MJ.
That crushed.
The black half like turtleneck or mock turtleneck, MJ definitely did that. The braided belt, I felt like MJ did that, but I couldn't find a picture of him wearing the braided belt. But the braided belt is extremely 90s.
Yes, dude, the braided belt. I owned a braided belt. You know, I like, yes, extreme 90s on the braided belt.
I'm bringing it back, dude. I feel like I'm going to bring it back.
Those of you that have never rocked a braided belt, like, you don't have to worry about where the hole is. Like, you just make it wherever you want. Like, it's totally fits your size wherever you may
Very
be. Very
customizable.
Yes, dude. Like, it's very customizable.
And then
Shout
you
out
can
to
do
the
cool
braided
things.
belt,
If the thing's too long, you just got to do the tuck.
You do the
put it
tuck,
under,
dude.
and you put it under and you tuck it, dude.
You could loop it. You
can be a 32 waist. You can buy 48 belt, dude. No one will even care, dude. Just let that shit dangle. Just tuck it.
Dude, anywhere you want to puncture, you can puncture, dude. You don't got to wait for any hole. Braided belt is actually
I don't know that they even sell. Like, you might have to get that shit on Etsy or something. I don't know that you can get that.
I'm going to try to find a braided belt.
I'm sure Amazon obviously has a. Actually, I know because I was looking for a picture of Michael Jordan wearing a braided belt, and I found multiple things selling braided belts. So they're out there. And shout out Mac. Always got to put his own spin on things, right? And Dennis just getting frustrated with it.
On the plane, Dee is complaining about the Wi-Fi not working, and she's hungry, and she's got to pee. Frank tells her to use the emergency can because the bathroom is broken. Dee asks Frank about a can of oysters she found, and he tells her that they're from a previous flight. At the club, Dennis and Mac get to meet Bryan and Aaron, but they don't get a chance to pitch them on anything. So they get back in line to try again.
Man, I definitely feel like, talk about the edging gone wrong. We never really get the finishing moment of Dee eating these oysters, right? They bring them up here. We're going to find out that she eats them. We hear about the toilet, but as far as we know, I mean, she says it was just a number one too. Like, how does that work? Does that really go right out of the plane, or is it just into a bucket? They dump it later.
That is a question I don't know the answer to. It's a good question. I got to say, the only saving grace of this oyster situation was the name.
You ate those oysters?
What? You told me to!
That can's from a shellfish company I started with Tony Danza back in the 80s.
Tony's Oysters in a Kanza?
It was a catchy name.
God damn you!
Didn't go anywhere.
This name with Tony Danza, with the oyster and the Kanza, this was so good that it kind of made me forgive not really developing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a sucker for it. The name was just so good, dude. It was so good.
Yeah, and definitely getting, flashbacks to Barry. And shout out Gene Cousineau calling out Tony Danza. It's just so random that Tony Danza it keeps coming up. I'm definitely there for it. I'm not complaining. It's just definitely random. But would it be like Danza in a Kanza? Castanja, Canstania, oysters in a can though. That definitely should be kind of like a warning sign, right?
It's almost like sushi at a bodega. It might even be worse.
Yeah, like a 3-day-old Wawa hot dog, although technically they never leave it out there that long. And I guess from what I understand, like that is a real thing. Like on planes, they will have like an emergency toilet like that. But usually I guess it's just like a bucket in the seat. And there is like a privacy screen. You just kind of have to do your business right there. So and shout out just the way Dennis gets flustered when he can't shake hands. Remember, he wants to start at the whole thing with the handshake, and that's how you're going to start it. And then that's where you first get the, basically the flipping of Walt and Jesse as far as their roles go. And that's awesome, dude. Because Dennis is like, come on. And then Walt's like, I don't mind shaking his hand. Brian's like, I don't mind shaking his hand. Jesse's like, no, we don't shake hands. And then that throws it off. And then they get out of line and they just look at him like, dude.
You blew it, dude. You choked.
I didn't choke it. No, it was Malcolm. He was throwing me a weird vibe.
Yeah, he's very aggressive. He's like the alpha dog, dude.
I didn't like
Malcolm's
that.
not in the middle. He's on top.
He's on top.
I loved all of that. The idea that kind of, Jesse Pinkman and Walt White have the inverse relationship of Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston.
I thought it was incredible.
Malcolm's not in the middle, dude. He's on top.
He's on top, dude. He's like the alpha dog, dude. I gotta say, man, I really like this, and I like that they set it up with earlier in the bit. Dennis basically explaining to Mac that, look, the handshake starts everything. There's no negotiation without a firm handshake. So I thought that they set it up really good for it to kind of go sideways there, and then they never really get to pitch, and he just basically messes it up.
Well, you get the idea, right? That probably happens to celebrities all the time. People get a second. Of course, they try to do the elevator pitch. I mean, hell, that's what they teach you to do. You pitch. If you get a chance, you do whatever you can. You get 10 seconds, you pitch.
Yeah.
It's got to be, the short version of the elevator pitch, but you pitch.
Okay, Gritty, picture yourself on a Caribbean.
Don't pitch Gritty!
Charlie is puking on a dumpster out back of the club when a town car shows up. Charlie asks the driver for help and proceeds to puke all over him and the interior of the car. The driver goes inside and tells Charlie to wait with the car. Immediately after that, somebody from the club comes out and asks Charlie if he's the driver for the Malcolm in the Middle guys, and Charlie says yes.
Not a lot here, but dude, shout out both the physical comedy of Charlie Day when he's puking and the sound design, because you hear nickels hitting the ground as he's puking. And you hear it again when he pukes in the car. You hear nickels kind of hitting the car. Just absolutely hysterical. In just his interaction, the limo driver guy was great, I thought.
Limo driver guy was awesome. Gave me like light Pondy vibes. Like, he was very cool. Maybe I just really miss Pondy. Like, come on, man, bring back Pondy. But that's a side note. I thought that they used the rain really well here. It was kind of like this rainy, kind of dreary scene outside, and that blended so well with the puke. And I think it worked really well without having to like actually make like puke. Like, it just, things were wet. And I think that was really smart from just kind of like setting the scene up a little bit. But I thought it was a cool use of the rain.
Yeah, it also gives a reason why there's gonna not puke all over the outside of the car and everything like that. So
Yeah,
but they don't notice when they walk up. So definitely good kind of direction, set design, everything like that there. And again, just Charlie's, I mean, he's having a reaction to the medals because of his Schlager play. Just Schlager play is just funny. Based on the way he's puking, I don't know how fine they were. The sounds they're making definitely make it.
You gotta love earlier in the episode when he's like, "You guys want to hit this?" and it's just like this bottle and in tape written in like Charlie's dyslexic handwriting. It's like nickel Schlager.
And it's a golden Schlager bottle. I'm pretty sure the shape was correct.
Oh, definitely. Because
if I remember right, it's a golden Schlager bottle. But yeah, I'm thinking about it now. How would Charlie melt nickels on his hot plate? Right?
He's hot nicks, dude.
That's probably the old, like, where else is he gonna get? He doesn't have access to a foundry or something like that.
It's the only way he would do it. It
would have to legitimately be on his fucking hot plate in the apartment. Oh man, what if only he had an extra room with a bigger kitchen or something?
Inside the club, Dennis and Mac have to pivot. Mac thinks that he saw Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts go into the bathroom, so they decide to pitch him instead. They go into the bathroom and start pitching, but it turns out that it's not Jalen Hurts, and they're actually talking to Gritty, the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers. No worries, because Dennis gets a call from Charlie, who's driving Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. They're all going to meet Frank when his plane lands.
JBG, you're both a man and a business person. You can't pitch in the bathroom, right? Unless you're pitching while you're walking in. You could continue the pitch, but you can't start a pitch in the bathroom. I feel that's just
pitch while somebody's pissing.
Not even if you have a urinal between you or anything. Definitely not in a stall with the door closed.
It cannot
Huge
start
no-no.
in the bathroom under any circumstances.
You cannot start a pitch in the bathroom.
No, hard no, hard no. I laughed so hard when they're going back and forth with what are they pitching? Is it a lifestyle or is it the booze? That whole bit was funny between Mac and Dennis. But then when you see you see Gritty, the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers, come out, and then Mac's just like, I must have confused him.
How do you confuse a young black man with a giant orange monster?
That was just
Well, then you see like an actual black dude who's most definitely not Jalen Hurts.
not at all.
A lot of the fandom was kind of upset. Like, we would have loved this to have been, Jeffrey Owens, Don Cheadle, Donovan McNabb, our man there, which would have been extremely cool. But it also would have been
This
cool if they
works.
got like, this is where if they could have flexed and got like Russell Wilson or something like that, like another black NFL quarterback that at least pairs a passing resemblance to Jalen Hurts. And like, then they're like, oh no, we don't want to pitch you. You know what I mean? That might have just added a level to the joke if you had the power to pull in that kind of cameo. Like, you get Lamar Jackson. They're like, oh
Yes.
no, and he's into it, and they're like, no, we don't want you. You're not Jalen Hurts. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't want you. He's like, oh, I'm Lamar Jackson. Like, that's I don't know we don't know you.
That would have been very cool. But how they did this worked so well because Mac really was like, Mac never gave notion that there was another person that went in the bathroom. He legitimately thought he confused a orange furry monster with an African-American young athlete. And this was so funny to me, dude. And then you just
Gritty was great. Shout out Gritty's body language and the kind of
oh
way
yeah, dude. And then and it was quick. You just see this black dude like come out of the bathroom and just like skirt by. That was so funny, dude. Like, that whole scene worked. So I don't know. I thought yes, they could have did something differently with it. But honestly, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was really funny.
Mac's outfit helps here. You get the highlight
Yes,
earring,
and he keeps trying
like
to pitch. He keeps closing the sports coat, trying to pitch a lifestyle. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't know why that it definitely, again, this episode, I think there's problems with it, but I legitimately just laughed my ass off.
Yeah, 100%.
And the jokes are, we focused at Breaking Bad fans, people who know what Michael Jordan used to wear in the 90s, people who drank Goldschlager and Jägermeister. But we're in that demographic, so what can I say?
Right. For us, we get all those jokes. And so
Yeah,
thank
this
you.
is, so
I say thank you to McElhenney and Day and all these
right,
guys.
it's
like,
a maximum amount it can land for us, really. Like, we are
Yes.
the target audience, theoretically.
Right.
Or at least we
And I
better be.
applaud that, honestly.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
dude,
I'm not complaining, dude. God damn it. Like, we don't get,
we don't get that much. We don't get a lot of shit, dude. And for season 16, for them to just be like, you know what, dude, we're throwing one back for the OGs for our generation. Thank you, guys. That's very cool. Like, I appreciate that.
Right, because it feels back in the day that a lot of the references were more 80s based, and this is very clearly like a late 90s-ish episode, with the exception of Breaking Bad.
Right. Well, Breaking Bad started, I guess early 2000s probably, but still.
Yeah, writer's strike, yeah, like 07 or 08. Later than you think, kind of.
I thought 05, 04, 05.
Yeah, because it was done by like 2012, 2013. It was only on, 5 seasons. They extended a little
Such a
bit to
great
6
fucking
years.
show.
Yeah, dude, talk about it. Well, goddamn, and then you got a Better Call Saul.
2008. It premiered 2008.
Yeah, so I was writer's strike, because it was a victim of the first writer's strike. That's why Jesse Pinkman lived.
In the car, Charlie apologizes for being on the phone and for vomiting in the car. He turns completely around to talk to them while he's driving, which leads to him apologizing for his driving as well. Aaron is frustrated with Brian's thrifty spending, while Brian enjoys interacting with the common man. But it turns out that Brian just has a gambling problem. Charlie gets a call from Frank, who tells him to meet up at the airport where the plane is refueling. Dee decides to stay after hearing about Malcolm and his dad. Then Dennis and Mac arrive, and they get everybody to move out of the main passenger cabin.
I thought this was, again, they could have did more with it, but the way Frank at the end pitches, like, yeah, that was a business deal from the 80s that never landed. Like, dude, Tony Danza and the Kansas, tell me that isn't that. It's stupid and silly, but I'll be a son of a bitch if it didn't land for me. It really did.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's tough to come up with something that's, that's just really an excellent pun. I do have to say that everything with Charlie in the car in Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul was just absolutely gangbusters. Letting Charlie Day loose with those two guys was just, as spectacular as you thought it would be. All the Mr. Malcolm stuff and the code word and the the punchline. I was like, oh, pardon me, I haven't driven a car in a long time. We wondered when we watched the season 16 trailer, like, boy, how is Charlie a chauffeur, right? He can't really drive. He doesn't drive that much. Were you cool with the payoff of the way that this kind of happened?
I thought it was cool, dude, and I liked the setup, especially with him easily being distracted, turning back to them, commenting on the smell, his nervousness. Again, Charlie Day is just unbelievable actor. He really gets into. He made you believe. I was nervous and had anxiety watching, and I wasn't even in the car.
He
so,
turned
that's how
full
good he is.
on all the way around, pivoted, like put both hands on the
Yes.
on the seats to talk to them. And again, Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston are, top level face acting. So it's just perfect. And, we get the setup here that, Bryan Cranston has a slot machine problem, a gambling problem. And, that's going to pay off most excellently in his monologue.
Brian and Aaron are on the plane about to take a nap when Dee bursts in asking them to party. Then Frank comes out and tries to sell them the plane for $35 million. This leads to Dennis and Mac bursting in to attempt their pitch. But before they can get far, Charlie busts in to pitch Nickelschlager. Dennis puts his foot down and says enough. They're starting over, beginning with a firm handshake. Brian hesitates, but the gang encourages him. Aaron tells him not to do it, but Brian goes ahead and shakes Dennis's hand. Brian asks them all to sit down, and then he gives a monologue implying that everything he's been doing is all a ruse to leave Aaron holding the bag when the public turns on celebrities. But boom! It turns out he was just acting. The gang thinks that he should really do a drama. He's got the goods. Dennis asks them if they want to invest, and the answer is an emphatic fuck no. They literally do not want to spend another minute with these crazy people.
It's hard to argue with Bryan Cranston getting to do a monologue, right? I mean, he definitely does the thing. He gets this Walt White moment kind of where you think it's going to, turn out a certain way based on whether or not you've seen Breaking Bad, and then kind of undercuts it quite expertly.
I was waiting for season 5 Walt, like I'm talking Heisenberg, who's died and came back from hell. Heisenberg, like he went there. I thought it was really cool. I really like this chemistry between him and Pinkman here, where we got Pinkman calling him the bitch, which was funny. This was great, dude. His monologue though was for real. I thought it was awesome. And when he ties it all in at the end, and that is what you call acting. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he really should consider doing a drama, right, Mr. Malcolm? I mean, both of obviously the way they're like, fuck no, I thought was great. But just the idea, the way Cranston kind of set it all up, and he gets this in so I ask you, bitch. It's just so fucking good. Every single thing about it, especially the way he called slot machines the one-armed succubus in Reno. Just small, and I know that one comes from the writers. That was great. And shout out Dee. She's going to go in. She's going to meet 2 celebrities. How does she come in?
But sleep for pussies. Let's party, am I right? Hey, guys, I'm Dee.
She's very confident in herself. I'll give her that.
She is. And she was all episode, from the reason why she was selected to go to Aruba to this scene. She, gotta hand it to Dee. She hasn't had a ton here throughout this season. It's been kind of limited action, but I thought she's performed very well.
Yeah, definitely wished, I'm hoping for more Dee at some point, maybe even a Dee episode here somehow. It's, she's definitely not gotten enough to do. I'm hoping it's because Caitlin Olsen had something else to do. So we're going to get some other awesome project from her. But yeah, I think that's one of my main, maybe my only real complaint of the season so far is that Dee hasn't gotten enough to do.
Yeah. Well, before we start our award tour, let's take the temperature here of the Sunny fandom on this particular episode. Magnum Mills, do Sunny fans have a fever for celebrity booze?
I don't know if it's a cowbell situation, but when it comes to the gang being sick, we know that booze is the only cure. Literally, Celebrity Booze, the ultimate cash grab, has a rating of 8.4 on IMDb, so that puts it in a 12-way tie for 77th overall among Sunny episodes. That's roughly top 45%, so let's call it top half of Sunny episodes. Jamie G, what do you think? Is top half, is that about right? Should it be higher, or is that too high?
don't think it should be higher, and I don't necessarily think it should be lower. I think it's just right, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's probably in the universe. I think I laughed pretty goddamn hard at this episode, but there is some missed potential here. I think there's, a way this could have been a really, truly classic episode, and the fact that it doesn't pay off that. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe I could put it in the top 40, 45%, but top half probably seems about right.
Well, we've covered some shows that struggle a bit with their episode titles. That's definitely not the case with Sunny, but shit, man. Just for shits and gigs, we still got to have a little fun and come up with some alternate title episodes. This one was Celebrity Booze, the Ultimate Cash Grab. And it's certainly an accurate title, but just maybe we can come up with something better. What do you think here, man?
I mean, obviously, Paddys, Schlager, Schnapster, Meister is pretty good. If you saw that would at least get a chuckle. I don't know, I like a Malcolm is on top. That would be an interesting one. It kind of fits with the episode, format they usually do. How about yourself? You got any alternate options here?
Well, I thought the Gang Gets Premium would be a pretty good one here. I also really like Charlie Has a Belly Full of Nickels. I think that could be fun. If you saw a title that was, Charlie Has a Belly Full of Nickels, I would definitely be interested in that one. Not that I wasn't interested in this one, but I think that would be fun too.
I think Frank Circles the City both has good kind of alliteration, and it will leave you interested. Like, oh, what do you mean Frank circling the city? That could be kind of fun.
And just real quick, shout out Meister, Schlager, and Schnapps, attorneys at law.
Ooh, they're doing a little Better Call Saul thing. I like that. And while we're at, Malcolm in the Middle, change the game.
Oh, man, that's good shit, dude. The award tour is officially underway, and the first stop is our favorite quote or dialogue from Celebrity Booze, the Ultimate Cash Grab. Magnum Mills, lead the way.
Hey, listen, I've been throwing up for a little bit.
Ugh, dude, sorry.
Yeah, I actually kind of can't stop. I think I'm having a reaction to the medals. But my real problem is, no matter how much I hurl, the nickels keep coming out.
Nickels?
Oh, yeah, it's a Schlager play I got going.
Jamie G, I dare you. Give me something more premium than that.
Well, I will, and it wasn't the funniest moment. It wasn't even a funny moment, but it's the only time likely in the history of the show we're going to get Bryan Cranston. If we get him twice, that's incredible. I think it's the only time we get him, so I got to go with his kind of solo dialogue there. I just thought it was awesome. It was awesome acting.
I don't ask for a lot. An Emmy here, Tony there, a little pocket change for the one-armed succubus in Reno. You control everything. Or do you? So I ask you, bitch, who was really in charge here?
It was nice to get Walt, even though he wasn't bald and he didn't have the goatee and he didn't have his little fedora. I still really liked this version. I gotta give it there, man. I mean, what's more premium than Walter White?
That's you went full Heisenberg. I'll give you that. You went full Heisenberg.
I did. Well, the next stop on the award tour is our favorite scene or moment from Celebrity Booze, the Ultimate Cash Grab. I'm up first here, Magnum Mills. You know what, dude? I gotta go with the scene in the bathroom. For me, they're at the nightclub, and the scene in the bathroom where they're trying to pitch Jalen Hurts. They pivot because they just absolutely epically just botched the pitch with Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston, and they think they see Jalen Hurts, and they go in there and they're like, yeah, that would play better with Philadelphia for a Philadelphia-based liquor. And they're right. And then out comes the mascot of the Flyers. This is just so funny, and it's probably such a win for Philadelphia people and Philadelphia sports fans. And I really appreciate that they did that. Just, that's super cool. But I thought this was hilarious, dude. Definitely my favorite moment.
Yeah, Gritty has been a little bit divisive since his introduction, but I think he's won over the city. I like you going with the bathroom scene there. I have to go with Charlie driving, Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston. That entire scene is just, to quote another show Bryan Cranston was on, gold, Jerry. Gold. Don't forget, Bryan Cranston was a dentist on Seinfeld.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Wow. He is. Son of a bitch.
That's how you bring it back around, baby.
Wow. Way to bring it back around, Magnum Mills. You guys do not want to miss the next stop on the award tour. This is our 5-star man or woman for Celebrity Booze, the ultimate cash grab. This is where we rank the characters in the episode from 1 to 5 stars, with 1 being the worst and 5 being the 5-star man or woman of and basically our episode MVP. Magnum Mills, you're up first here.
At number 1, just mentioned him. Shout out Gritty. Only had 1 scene, definitely made his presence felt. At 2, I have to go with Frank, because if nothing else, he got to ride around in his jet, he had his downloaded shit, he drank his blended wine, he ate his spaghetti, and, he got his tax write-off. Good for you. At 3, I'm going with Aaron Paul. He didn't quite maybe control Cranston as much as we thought, but I liked how he got to assert himself, and he seems to be doing well with all of his, earnings and whatnot, and he doesn't have a problem with the one-armed succubus in Reno. At 4, give me Charlie. He didn't quite sell the Nickelschlager, but goddamn, everything about him drinking the Nickelschlager, puking the Nickelschlager, driving the cab, whatever, the town car, it was absolutely awesome. My 5-star man is going to be Bryan Cranston, because god damn, Bryan Cranston, just awesome. Whether or not he was playing kind of the lackey to Aaron Paul, then he gives a Walter White speech. Just, yeah, absolutely slated. The man can do comedy, dude. He should try doing a comedy.
He's got the goods. He's definitely got the goods for a dramedy, comedy probably too. My 5-star people here, man. Number 1, I gotta put Dee there. Again, she was great. She didn't do a ton here, but when she had opportunity, she did well. Really enjoyed her shit on the plane. I thought it was cool. Kind of good way to use her without using her. So I thought that was nice. She's there at 1. 2, I've got Mac. I mean, just shout out Mac with the 90s look, dude, and the hoop earring. Like, I don't know. That was pretty dope, dude. I really like that. 3, I've got Dennis. After all, it was his plan, the Golderschlager Meister. That was his whole thing. It was pretty brilliant, and you got to give it up for Dennis for organizing that. 4, I've got Charlie. Dude, Charlie's the one that actually got them on the plane. He delivered. He's the only one that did, even though he was puking up nickels in the back by the dumpster. He still found a way. Shout out Charlie. And 5, I've got the Malcolm in the Middle people. They fucking stole this up. They're 5-star men.
Oh, I mean, have you ever heard of a little show called Malcolm in the Middle, dude? It changed the game, dude.
It changed the game, bro. And for the final stop on this award tour, we're going to give a grade to Celebrity Booze, the ultimate cash grab. We're each going to grade this episode of Sunny on a scale of 0 to 100 patty bucks. Mills?
And I definitely like this one, but I think there is a little bit of missed potential. I'm going to go 84 patties bucks. Jamie G.
Yeah, I'm just slightly higher on this one than you. I'm 87 patties bucks. I thought it was really good. But it just because of the scale of what they did here and who they had, and maybe that's unfair, but it's a reality when you get the Breaking Bad boys on the show. It could have been better. They could have did more with them, for better or worse. This could have been a 97. Instead, for me, it's an 87.
The Breaking Bad boys, dude. I think you're just trying to make them into your, trailer park boys.
That would be a really fun mashup. Come on, could you not see Ricky and Julian cooking meth in the park, dude? I mean, they're growing dope already, but could they cook meth? Probably. And Mills, I hate to say this, but we're now 5 episodes deep into season 16. Like, holy shit, dude, it's flying by. Based on our grades, where does Celebrity Booze, the ultimate crash grab, rank so far?
All right, man. We do not have the Soup Doozers input yet. We will get that. But as of now, our 5th episode, our least favorite so far, is the season premiere, The Gang Inflates. That's followed by the 2nd episode, Frank Shoots Every Member of the Gang. And then at 3 is this episode, Celebrity Booze, the ultimate cash grab. And at 2 is The Gang Gets Cursed. And at 1 with a bullet, we still have Frank versus Russia. That was episode 4, currently our favorite episode of season 16.
I stand by that, honestly. I think we ranked them pretty accurately. I'm proud of what we did here on A Night Pod Cometh. Guys, we are going to finish up by making a few predictions for the next episode. And this is kind of the spoiler kind of heads up here. We're going to be discussing the short teaser trailer for next episode. If you don't want to be spoiled on that, if you're one of those people who doesn't watch the trailer, go ahead, get out of here. We won't blame you. Thanks for checking us out. We appreciate you checking out the Night Pod Cometh. But for those that want to hang out and party with us, we're going to break this down a little bit. Mills, what's up next?
Oh man, this looks like it's going to be a fun one. Again, kind of, I would say aimed at people who grew up in, probably the late 80s to late 90s, because the next episode is Risky Rats Pizza and Amusement Center, which is basically Chuck E. Cheese's. And the short plot synopsis is the gang goes to Risky Rats, only to find that all their riskiness has been systematically replaced with safety and overcautiousness. Dennis and Charlie try to find the old ride with the animatronic boobs. D takes Frank on a scavenger hunt. And Mac is nowhere in that one, so I wonder where he is. In the actual teaser itself, we kind of see them, at a little bit of a show, but it's not animatronics now. It looks like it's people like dressed up like the characters. And in fact, Dee seems to be choking one of those characters in a costume, and she might actually steal his costume. We see Dennis playing skee ball with a young boy, kind of callbacks to the gang goes to the water park there when he teamed up with the young chick. And at the very end of the teaser trailer, the gang's kind of pulling, they're counting down, and Frank pulls a big lever. Jamie G, what do you think? Under, over 1.5 scenes set in a ball pit?
I'm gonna say under on that, but I wish it was over.
I wrote the climax to be in a ball pit, kind of. I think that would be fun. What do you think? Are they sneaky booze in, or can you buy booze at Risky Rats?
I gotta believe you can buy booze there. I gotta believe there's a bar. I don't know, dude. I'm really excited. I think we might get the D that we want here. This trailer has me excited that maybe we're gonna get more D. You?
Yeah, I'm hoping for it, man. I like the way they kind of shot the entire teaser. It just came out, very kind of late in the game here, and I'm assuming that's because they structured it to actually look like a, commercial for Chuck E. Cheese back in the day and everything. I like that they're leaning into this. I think there's a lot of cool stuff here. We definitely saw a little bit of it in the season 16 trailer. I at least want them to maybe acknowledge just how bad the pizza was at Chuck E. Cheese, though. It was like kitchen,
Trash,
like
yeah.
a grocery store oven pizza, like that level, kind of.
Oh, dude, I think DiGiorno's is better than that shit.
I'm talking like
trash.
the name brand, like not even the shit in the freezer section, just like the super rando, like right up there with a high school cafeteria lunch pizza.
You might find a twist tie in there.
It ain't no Elio. It ain't even no fucking Elios,
No, definitely not Elios. Shout out Elio. Definitely not.
That's the best. If you're going down to DiGiorno, that's up there with like it's good bang for your buck in college.
Mills, what do you think Frank is doing when he pulls that lever, man? Any final predictions on that thing?
I'm hoping like drains the ball pit to find a buried treasure or something like that. I have one other question, because it's Chuck E. Cheese's, and I'm pretty sure if you're of a certain age, don't you have to have a kid to get in? Do you think they recruit a kid to come in with them?
That's very funny. I think
Dennis is with. Maybe do they bring back Cricket's kid, like the kid? That would be kind of kill.
That would be very funny. I'm going to say that Frank is hitting that switch, tricking everyone into something happening, but really to shut down Risky Rats because he owns it and he's bankrupting it.
I sound like I don't know how you're going to really sell Risky Rats off for parts at this point, but I'm down for something cool, dude. You know what? Give me they're searching for animatronic boobs. Give me a Goonies thing. How about a Goonies thing, dude? Let's do a Goonies thing where they're trying to get back into the old shut down part of the restaurant or something to find these boobs, and there's booby traps and shit. Give me a Goonies thing. I think that'd be cool.
I'm there for it, brother, and we'll be here for you as we keep on keeping on the Night Pod Cometh. Thank you guys for checking out the Night Pod Cometh. You are truly a premium person. If you have any thoughts on the episode, anything we didn't comment that you wanted us to, anything you agree with, disagree with, anything at all you got to do is let us know in the comments or hit us on the social medias. We're just simply at Night Pod Cometh. I am wearing the captain's hat and no one refers to me as captain. I'm really pissed off about it. Magnum Mills, what did I forget? Bitch!
Oh, Jamie G. Are you really the sweet hapless boob? Or are you the slick, talking, fucking scheming millennial? Bitch or not, I am premium AF, while you are just consistently inconsistent. So I ask you, bitch, who is really in charge here? Thank you again for checking out the Night Pod Cometh. Find us wherever you get your pods, on social media at Night Pod Cometh, on the YouTubes. Do not forget those flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. That's how people find our show. We greatly appreciate it. Please, and the thank you. This has been the Night Pod Cometh. I am Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G. Thank you one more time for checking out our show. And not only that, thank you for being a fighter for the Night Pod Cometh. Ooh.